is it? Hmm? Okay, thank you very much. Again, brothers and sisters, our good friends, ladies and gentlemen, those who are joining me again for the platform for the meeting of health in this forum, and for those who are joining me on platform or in other parts of the world. Thank you very much. We've been going through our 8 principles of healthy living and health, what we can do to be healthy. And we've covered the original plan that God intended for us. We've looked at some of the scientific evidence that is there. And we've tried to look at a double-blind study and the story of Daniel and the choices he made. Why these choices turns out to be good choices, because it is based on science, it's based on facts, it's based on data. Now I want to continue on today for the other part of this study, which we will be looking at. And we're going to be looking at the question, why adopt a plant-based diet? Why adopt a whole food, plant-based diet? What's the basis of it? Is there an argument in favor of it? Well, we provided some data and information. I want to provide you a little more facts. Let's just remind you of some global facts. Most of the data will actually come from information from the United States, but also some global data. So about 18 million people die every year from heart disease. We're talking about some facts. These are just hard, concrete facts that we have to accept and deal with. These are facts. About 18 million people die from heart attack every year. 100 years ago, nobody even heard about heart attacks. Now it's the #1 killer, not only in America, but in the UK, in Australia, in Western civilization. 1 out of 2 people, 50% of people die of heart disease in the Western world every year. 1 out of 2. It's a man-made disease. Why? It's a lifestyle disease. It's choices that you make concerning what you do and how you eat. That's it. Lifestyle is what you do and how you eat. Look at stroke. We talked about the causes of stroke. I'm just reminding you. It's the 3rd leading cause of death in America. It's probably the 3rd and 4th in the UK and Australia. And it is one of the leading causes of disability in adults. So, they're paralyzed on one side down, both sides, and so they can't move. Again, it's a man-made disease in most cases. Man-made choices we make. Look at cancer. About 10 million cancer deaths worldwide in 2018, about 18 million newly diagnosed every year. These are very serious statistics. It's the leading cause of death in Australia. It's the leading cause of death in America. It's the leading second or leading cause of death in the UK. It's very significant. It's the 2nd most common cause of death in Australia in 2019. 3 out of 10 deaths attributable to cancer. About 1.8 million new cancer cases diagnosed. About 607,000 cancer deaths in the United States alone. 2008 statistics show that 1 out of 2 men at risk of cancer and 1 out of 3. We are at risk of cancer. 1 out of 2 men, 1 out of 3 women. Why? What is it that is exposing us to the risk? Well, I've tried to give you some information about it already. It's the choice of things we're eating and our lifestyle. According to the National Cancer Institute of America, 35 to 60% of cancers are due to our diets. This happens to be the facts, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. The biggest risk for cancer that we have is from the food we're eating, the choices of the food we eat. And therefore, if we want to prevent cancer and if we want to deal with the cancer issue, we have to make healthy dietary choices. We have to be careful about what we eat and how we treat our bodies, because these things have a powerful effect on our health and quality of our lives. What you eat and what you do. That's what lifestyle means. So colon cancer, 35% of all deaths, colon cancer deaths are due to diet. dietary indiscretion, leading to polyps, and from polyps become malignant and then becomes cancerous. Well, malignant means cancerous. Diabetes, that's just cancer, heart disease, and strokes. Look at diabetes. 387 million diabetics worldwide. One new diabetic is discovered every 7 seconds. And it is thought that for every one that you know that we've discovered, there is one that isn't. So it's actually twice as large a number as we actually think it is. And studies have shown that when you do a random test, random check on populations that you think has this X number, it turns out to be X times 2. Diabetes is expected to reach 592 million cases per year by the year 2035. Worldwide, it's the fastest growing chronic condition. And then you have to ask yourself, why? Why do we get cancer? And why is diabetes moving at such a rapid rate all over the world? There must be, that can't be genes. The gene can't change overnight. So it's something else is going on. The number of people with diabetes is growing every year in every country. 1 in 11 adults is diabetic worldwide. 1 in 2 adults with diabetes remains undiagnosed. So every number you see, double it. So 1 in 11 is really 2 in 11. It's double that. The numbers are staggering. 280 Australians develop diabetes every day. Give you the Australian statistic. 1 person every 5 minutes becomes diabetic in our country. 1.7 million Australians are diabetic. We're a small country. We have about 24, 25 million people. 1.7 million Australians are diabetic, and another probably 1.72 million are pre-diabetic. They have diabetes and they don't even know they have it. And it includes all types of diagnosis of diabetes, the diagnosed as well as the so-called silent type 2 diabetics. So again, the numbers are actually staggering. Now, if you look at diabetes only, you look also at, here's another one, obesity, because diabetes and obesity are linked together. And obesity internationally in all the Western civilizations, countries, and particularly ours, Australia, of which I'm familiar, is growing at an alarming rate, both in adults and sadly in children. We are seeing this thing is not only cataclysmic, it's catastrophic in its impact. This thing is of major global significance. So it's growing at a rapid rate, and you can see how those graphs are going up. Look, the adult graph is going up at such a steep rate, but the more disturbing one is also the children. The rates are going up. 2/3 of American adults, UK adults, are overweight. 1/3 of the American, UK, and American adults are obese. So overweight is anything over a BMI of 25. Obese is anything over a BMI of 30. Annually in the United States, more than 300 deaths are directly linked to obesity. And according to the National Cancer Center for Health, obesity rates have doubled, more than doubled in adults and more than tripled in children. Children are becoming the greatest challenges when it comes to obesity. Based on the science and the statistics, it is thought that for the first time, as far as we can tell, in the generation of man as we know it, it is for the first time that it is predicted that children will die before their parents because of obesity. There you go. Take that statistic. Being overweight, once you're overweight, you have twice the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes and most of these chronic illnesses can be controlled simply by the choice of the food we eat. And that's what I've been spending the last few days trying to present to you, the choices we make concerning the foods we eat and what God intended we should be eating. Now, the medical answer to all of these problems, diabetes, cardiac disease, obesity, is surgery. A pill or a stent or an open heart surgery. You fix the problem by giving the people a pill. That does not solve the problem. No, I'm not saying it's not necessary, because some of these are critical. But I'm saying that does not solve the problem. The greater problem that is faced by the world community and the community of health, or more probably correct, the community of disease, is we need to go back and figure out what's causing the problem and fix that. Don't keep mopping up the floor, find out who turned the tap on and take it off. But our science, our medical science is designed to keep mopping the floor. The water is on the floor. We keep mopping it up instead of going to the pipe and switching it off. And that's where we are in the global world. So diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and so on in adults, but now obesity in adults, but in children. Childhood obesity is growing at about 25%. 1 in 4 children and adolescents in Australia, and I think would be the same in the UK and America, are overweight or obese. These are alarming statistics, 1 in 4. And the reason and causes for obesity in children are well known. It is unhealthy food choices, the lack of physical activity because they spend all the time in watching the computer or playing computer games, and the fact that the family's eating habits are not educated because they're all eating from the same family pot. If the parents are eating badly, the children will eat badly. So unhealthy food choices, they're providing all this. You go anywhere you go now, it's a soda machine or a chocolate machine or something. No, there's no good foods. They're forced into choosing these meals, which are unhealthy. Then we also have the plague of digestive problems, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, all sorts of things that are affecting the bowel. People having all sorts of diseases related to the selection of food and the problem of acid digestion in the body. We have the problem of elevated cholesterol, a big problem. And high cholesterol is directly linked to cardiovascular or heart disease. It clogs up your arteries. It can give you a stroke. It clogs up the vessels of your leg. You get peripheral vascular disease. Or, you have problems everywhere, cold feet and painful legs and peripheral neuropathy. But high cholesterol is also linked to diabetes as well as high blood pressure. Now, we know protein is linked to it because we've seen the evidence for that. But we know that diabetes and high blood pressure is also linked to high cholesterol, not to mention gallbladder inflammation. And so the industry, instead of dealing with the problem, is producing pills and tablets and medication to treat the symptoms of the problem and not going back to address the cause of the problem. Now, I don't want to sound critical or ungrateful. I'm saying, sure, it is necessary sometimes to deal with those by taking medication or have an operation or get a stent because you're in a critical place. But that should not be in the absence of education and training towards helping people to solve the problem, to deal with the problem and the cause of the problem so that they don't end up having to take a tablet forever. That is my point. That is my argument. So we are dealing with a crisis. Not only are we dealing with foods that are not in its natural state, the fact that we're eating foods that are not healthy. Most of the foods, even the so-called foods we think is healthy, are so over-processed and ultra-processed, full of all sorts of sugar and oil and fats and flavors and colors and sweeteners and emulsifiers, additives. They should be marked with a label as hazardous to your health. But a lot of the food we eat is exactly what that is. And we eat it without thinking what we're putting into our bodies and the impact it has. You cannot keep putting junk into the body and expect the body not to respond. So there was this study was done by a fellow called, I think Frank Larson was his name, called The Hungry Planet. Anyway, what he did, he went across different communities of the world in order to try and find out what it is they were eating. And he was trying to relate it to some degree to the general health, but it was really just in pictures of different types of diets of communities in various parts of the world. And he went all over the world and so on. He's got this book called Hungry Planet. I just want to show a couple of pictures to show the contrast. So this is the standard American diet, a family in California. And what you're seeing there is 1 week of food in that household. And what you're seeing is the standard American diet. Now, you look at what that is there, and you have to wonder to yourself, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you don't know. You don't have to wonder to yourself why it is we're getting sick. It's very clear why we're getting sick, why we're having all these chronic illnesses, and why it is impacting not only the adults, it is impacting the children. You compare that, for example, to a family in Guatemala. That's their 1 week food. I'm sure you can tell the difference between that picture, which is a USA, California family, 1 week, and the Guatemala one. You can see all the whole foods, the vegetables, the fruits, and that's why they're healthier than the people in North America and in Australia, because we're following the wrong diets. We're choosing the wrong things. Whole food, whole food, plant-based food is what we should be eating. And we look at the benefits of it. The benefits of it, we emphasize, I say it again, it's a healthier weight, it improves your cholesterol, your blood pressure is better, your blood sugar is better. You can prevent and even reverse heart disease by Dr. Esseltine. He's shown it, diabetes, can slow the progress of some cancers. It can improve inflammatory diseases, gout, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis. This is data that's available to us to prove it is there. It is coming and being released every day, proving the point that a whole food plant-based diet will lead to better health. Here is the work by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, and he showed where these people, he had 18 of them, and he showed that 18 of them, one eventually died, but the 17 of them 10 years later, 12 years later, still had good health. These were people that were going to die. They were given up by medical community saying they're going to die. And by changing them to a whole food plant-based diet, he was able to reverse their coronary disease, and they were able to live healthy lives with no further cardiac events. It's a very good book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. I suggest and recommend, if you want to really get a handle on what the impact of diet on your health is, that's a very good book to buy. So in summary, as we close, we're not doing well. In the United Kingdom, in America, in Australia, in all our Western civilizations, we are not doing well. We have replaced good health and good health choices with medicines and procedures and surgery. And as I say, it's not a statement that sometimes these are not indicated. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that we need to look again at the cause of these problems and address those causes in a preventative way, so that we don't have to have the surgery and we don't have to have the procedures and we don't have to take the tablets. We need to adopt a whole food plant-based diet and a lifestyle that is based, so it's not just diet, it's a lifestyle based on minimally processed fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes. Many people believe that a pear comes out of many children believe a pear comes out of a tin, because everything is so processed, even the fruits and the vegetables. People think carrot comes out of a tin. Corn comes out of a tin. Corn doesn't come out of it comes out of a tin, but it doesn't come from a tin. So we've got to go back to whole food plant-based diets and a lifestyle of minimally processed foods. And a whole food plant-based diet has the potential not only to prevent disease, but to reverse many diseases such as heart disease and cancer. That is unchallengeable. You cannot challenge that position because it is absolutely strong in science. So in conclusion, how to deal with this whole place? Keep learning, keep reading, keep following guidelines, looking at the literature, clear out your kitchen, remove all the junk food, stock your kitchen with good plant foods, plan your meals in advance so you're not caught out buying junk food because you have nothing to eat. Get somebody to join with you who can be a partner with you, who can keep each other accountable for what we do. And of course, keep trying. Don't give up, because it's a path. Start one way and keep growing. You don't have to be whole food plant vegan tomorrow morning. Not at all. Just work through it until you eventually found the right path. So whole food plant-based is not a diet. It's a lifestyle. That's really what I'm sending. No, that's the message. Not a diet. It's a lifestyle. And so you're standing at the crossroads. Health is a change in lifestyle. You want to be healthy. You want to be free from the diseases, the challenges, the problems you're facing. You've got to make a change in your lifestyle. You're standing at the crossroads of a memorable life or an average life. Choose life that both you and your offspring will live. So my desire for you, beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Finally, for tomorrow, one more session. We have one more session left. Tomorrow, I'm going to be dealing on the continuation of the 8 laws of health. Now, I spent a lot of time on nutrition. We said that there are 8 principles, and I've spent a lot of time on nutrition because I think that's a fundamental one that is lacking. Tomorrow, I'll be dealing with the other 7 principles of health, healthy living. We're just going to touch on them. We're not going to spend in detailed material on it this time, but I think it would be a nice way to close off or round off our study on health. So thank you very much for your time. May God bless you. Looking forward to see you tomorrow.